Hello lovely beaders! Here I have a few projects for you, some bracelets that are made using the cubic right angle weave, and I'd like to start some tutorials and show you how to make them. But before that we need to know how to make the cubic right angle weave. I need to show you the technique, and this is mainly because, at least for me, it was a very challenging technique. It took me a long time to understand how to make it. So in order to make that cube with beads, we need to build squares and to connect them together. So for a cube we have the floor square, then the wall squares, and here at the top the ceiling square. To make it easier to understand, hopefully, I will place in this diagram the beads in the middle so we can see them easier. So we start with building up our first square, which is the floor square. So for this we pick up 4 seed beads, and here we have them in a circle. We move the thread through one of the seed beads, and now, having the floor of the cube, we start with building up the walls. So for the first wall we already have 1 seed bead. We need to add 1. So to build our first square, we have 1 seed bead from the floor that is common, and we have to add 1, 2, 3 to create the 4 right angle weave. 1, 2, 3, the 4 seed beads right angle weave. Okay, and here we have our wall that will come up like this, and from this point we move the thread at the second seed bead from the floor. To create the second square, we have this seed bead that is common with this wall. See? So on this line of the wall they share the bead, and 1 common with the floor. So we need to add 2 seed beads. Pick up 2 seed beads, go through the bead from the first wall and from the bead from the floor, and we have another right angle weave unit, which is the second wall of the cube. Now we move the thread to the third seed bead from the floor, which is this one in our case. So far we have 1 wall up finished, the second finished. For the third one we have again, see, this is common, so this bead is already in place. We have 1 from the floor, so we need to add 2 extra seed beads. So, with the thread coming out the third seed bead, we pick up 2 seed beads and go through the seed bead from square to the floor, the third one from the floor, and here we have the third square. They are all in one plane here, but they are actually, if we check our cube, we are in this position now. Yeah? So now we need to build up the fourth square. And for the fourth square, we can see that we have one common from the floor, one common from the first square, and one common from the third square. Yeah? So this means that the only one that we have to add is actually the top one, the ceiling one. So let's have a look at our work. We move the thread through the fourth seed bead of the floor, and now we push on the floor and force the walls to come up now. So we pick up 1 seed bead from the first square. Now if we push it like this, we pick 1 seed bead for the ceiling, then we go through the seed bead that is common. We go through the bead that is common with square number 3, and then we go back through the ceiling. And in this moment, we have the structure of a cube, the thread is on the bottom, on the floor. We move it up through wall number 1. Now we are at the ceiling seed bead, and in the here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we connect 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here you have your cube. It's quite difficult to see it with such small beads. But when you are going to work it yourself, the structure is there. Now, being at the floor, we start the same process again. So I know that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 seed beads, and I have to go through them all. So I'm counting the first circle, the first right angle weave, the first wall. I need 3. I go through the seed bead from the bottom and the next one. Now for the second square we pick up 2, go through the side, through the bottom, and then through the third seed bead from the floor of the cube. For the third one, we know we need 2, and we go through the side, through the bottom, and move the thread through the fourth from the floor. And in this point, for the fourth side square of the cube, we have 1, 2, 3, move up, so we can add the sealing seed bead like this, and go through the side, through the floor, through the side again. And now we go around these 4 beads that are the floor of the next cubic right angle weave. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we move the thread through the first seed bead. And now you can see how the shape comes up. Let's make just another one. Hopefully the explanations will help. So 1, 2, 3, 4 seed beads at the floor. We create the first square. We know we need 3. Move the thread through the second on the floor. We have the first side wall. For the second one, we pick up 2 seed beads and go through the side, the first square and the bottom, and then we move the thread through the third one from the floor. Now for the third one, we know we pick up 2 seed beads to create the square or the right angle weave unit. Go back with the thread, with the needle through the side seed bead and the one from the bottom. Move the thread through the fourth seed bead from the floor, and now it's time to push the beads up. And for the fourth, we go up the side seed bead. We add the sealing, then we go through the side seed bead from square number 3. We go back through the bottom seed bead. We have this unit finished. We move the thread up the side seed bead from the first wall, and now we go around and connect all the 4 seed beads from the ceiling together, and now they are the base for our next cube. I hope it makes sense, and I will refer to this tutorial when we make some designs that need cubic right angle weave. Thank you for watching. Ciao, ciao.